Last night, April 13th, popular looksmaxer and online degenerate Clavicular was hospitalized with an apparent methamphetamine overdose. If you are unaware, this is a 20-year-old male who has injected himself with just about everything and strained his muscles to a breaking point in order to achieve the ideal or perfect look. Clavicular is not a leader. And despite being treated like one sometimes, and just because he has people who follow him, does not make him a leader. Hello, I am Opal, also known as Josh. I like to talk about people, and I try very hard to find a middle ground and not to reach to one extreme or the other. So I watched this weird Australian interview where the interviewer is treating Clavicular like this weird holy prophet of the next generation. And it just has a weird vibe to it. The interviewer has this air of superiority. It's strange. But it also gives me a really good look at who Clavicular actually is. See, up until this point, myself included, assumed him to be the face of the looksmaxing community. I wasn't aware that he was a self-identified incel who is looking to escape the Matrix. Essentially, he's an Andrew Tate follower. And that's when a lot of puzzle pieces kind of fell into place. If we're looking at it from the media angle, they kind of need a face to put all this to that's not Andrew Tate because they can't use Andrew Tate. So Clavicular is the next man up. But also, when I was a naive boy of February 2026, and Clavicular got framed mogged by an ASU frat leader, and I had to look up what the fuck was going on. I, at that point, assumed he was a grifter. Someone who knew he was playing a bit or a character, and was leaning into the joke. Hoping to rage bait his way to the top. Maybe not rage bait exactly, but you know what I'm trying to say. I thought he was like a social media gremlin trying to get that fame. What I didn't know is I think that actually destroyed him. I think in his mind, this was a big reality check. No matter how much you put in, no matter how much artificial stuff you go through, there is always going to be a bigger fish. And I also think the internet making jokes about him really hurt him. And then I kind of started to think for a second, and I know that's a brave choice, but I was like, a person under 20 years old who's injecting themselves, hitting themselves with a hammer, looking for constant social media validation, this person is woefully insecure. And upon a more cursory glance, seemingly none of this came from wanting to be internet popular. If he wanted to achieve internet fame, there are a lot more easy roads to get there. Instead, he consistently wants to appear to ascend the socio-sexual hierarchy. Yeah, okay. So his thing is to try to become an alpha, right? Achieve the highest possible version of yourself to find a partner that is that high of a caliber, and then you guys can finally mesh. In theory, it doesn't sound too bad, right? Eugenics aside, I really dislike how a lot of these men treat women as like props, as like prizes. At the end point of their story, they're gonna get the female, instead of just treating them like, oh, I don't know, human beings. With all of that being said, I don't think trying to maximize your potential is a bad mindset. Trying to be the best possible version of yourself for you. Don't do it for an imaginary girlfriend. Don't do it because the internet tells you. Do it for you. And I guess if you're looking for external motivation for that, Clavicular is a great example of that, because he did all of this work and there's still a bigger fish. So why do media outlets and YouTubers and even people on basic social media treat him like the king of incels? He doesn't want that. He wants to escape the Matrix. He wants to ascend the sexual hierarchy and get a prime girlfriend and be better than you. Clavicular is the logical extreme. When you take a blank slate and you shove Andrew Tate's philosophy with all of the shit happening in the world, with all of the social media influence, the loneliness, the isolation, the bubbles, the validation, the excessive need to be more. You take that whole thing that's just steaming, and one person is bound to go to the logical extreme and take things to an extreme point. And that man, I believe, is Clavicular. Taking these ideas, taking these principles, and going to their absolute extreme, and potentially paying the ultimate price. This really is a cautionary tale. Don't be like him. Spend your time and your money trying to be happy with yourself. Here's the secret. It is okay to be happy in your body. You don't need to change. Why do you need to fix something if you're perfect the way you are? Now, don't immediately hear that and go, okay, I'm never gonna exercise again. Self-improvement is potentially the most important thing on this planet. And self-acceptance of where you're at can help with that in so many ways. Because the point of it is to do it for you, not for the world. Self-improvement is for the self. So do it in a way that actually helps you. Let me let you into my world a little bit, so I'm just not like instructing. I personally would rather look imperfect and normal rather than perfect and strange. Perfect people are a little boring. I like broken people like myself. In terms of looks, I have a couple of fears. With the stress and the way my life has gone, I feel like I'm gonna get gray hair super quick. I'm probably gonna even go bald. I worry about these moles on my neck, which seem to keep popping up out of nowhere. But at the end of the day, I can either kind of like obsess about them and go through hoops to try to remove it and change what is probably inevitable, or I can accept it and try to go, you know what? The person that I'm going to end up with, the girlfriend, the wife, whoever it is, the partner that I'm going to end up with, is probably not going to go, oh, ew, he's got gray hair and moles. If that's what that partner is thinking, they're probably not who I want to be with, regardless of where they fall on the pseudo-sexual hierarchy. What does that matter if you're happy? Oh, that's all I got for this one. Try to be happy, try to find self-acceptance. Also remember, it's okay to have a middle ground. Regardless, like and subscribe. I appreciate it. I'm not great at asking for the YouTube stuff. Until next time, there's a Kitchen Nightmares coming up in the next couple days. Hopefully this video was edited enough and it's not just a boring podcast. I don't know. Thank you very much for watching. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Why Sigma males are more attractive than alpha males. Stay tuned.